Welcome, everyone. I'm Anjali Dange, a nutritionist and founder of Starlight Wellness. Today, we are talking about a phase that is often overlooked once the baby arrives: your body, your recovery, and your nourishment. This workshop is a practical and culturally relevant guide to eating right during breastfeeding, especially for those balancing care, healing, and work. Let's begin. One, we know we need to support milk supply. So the foods that help you support milk supply are called as galactogogues. So, for example, simple things in your kitchen like methi, fennel, that is your sauf, ajwain, halim or garden cress seeds, goond. I'm sure all of you have heard about it. Everybody talks about having goond laddu during this phase. Dry fruits, whole pulses, laddus made with nuts and jaggery and goond together. So all of these are known to help you improve your milk supply. Okay. Then of course you need energy rich food because like we've been saying, right? You need to gain back your strength. So for that you need specific foods like dates because they're rich in iron, ghee that helps in the absorption of fat soluble vitamins, and ghee you don't have to do you need not overdo it, but take it in moderation. Like whenever you're having your meal, maybe a spoon of ghee to be added to it. Or if you don't like it on your food, then maybe in the form of the laddu, you add a little bit of ghee when you're making the laddu. Things like ragi, bajra, and jaggery as well. They all help you to improve your energy. So millets, usually ragi is very easily digestible. And here again, the emphasis is that whatever food you're eating, it should not give your baby any, symptoms of gas or gastric issues. So because of that, we are a little careful about what foods we choose. Okay. So for your energy, dates, jaggery, and the millets like ragi and bajra, which are a little easier for you to digest right now. Then you, of course, need protein. Just like during your pregnancy, you did focus on having a good amount of protein, whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Again, during this phase when you're feeding your baby, you do need small amounts of protein going into each meal. So like moong dal, eggs, paneer, curd, chicken, fish, and nuts. So non-vegetarian food, everybody has different, opinions about it. You will hear a lot about this from your elders and family members. What I would suggest is go slow when you're introducing something. Please introduce just one thing, like say you want to start eating mutton or chicken. Just have a small piece, observe for 1 or 2 days if it's causing any issues for you or for your baby, and then continue to have it. So any new food that you're introducing, please observe for 2 or 3 days and then go ahead with it. In your case, you have to look out for, is it causing you any bloating or gas or, stomach pain or acidity? These are the things that you have to look out for. The same symptoms you have to look out for in your child, whether your child is, crying constantly because of colic or something when you've introduced something. So proteins are required, but whenever you're making dal, please ask them to make it a little, not too thick, medium consistency, so that you also don't face any issues, because your movement is going to be quite restricted for, in case you've had a C-section or a normal delivery, your movement is restricted compared to before. So there are chances of you feeling a little bloated and heavy after too much of dal. So stick to small quantities and make it a little medium consistency and not too thick. The healthy fats, so use cold press oils, whichever one that you're usually used to using at home. It could be cold pressed sunflower, cold pressed sesame. Sesame oil is actually very good for whenever, post pregnancy, the vegetables, the seasoning can be done in cold pressed sesame oil. It helps even for milk production, and you can add a little bit of garlic in your seasoning, which again can help as a galactogogue. And you had nut butters, peanut butter, almond butter, but be a little careful here because we don't know if there are any allergens that can affect your child. So be a little careful when you're using nut butters. And flax seeds and chia seeds, of course, can be used. Again, see, just like what we had spoken during pregnancy, Whenever you introduce anything new, observe and then continue to use it. Okay. Then you also have your hydration options. So I constantly keep getting, comments from new mothers saying, I don't remember to drink water. I'm not able to drink water. Or my family members are saying you can drink only this much amount of water and they are restricting me on it. So what are the other ways in which you can hydrate yourself? So you can have ajwain or jeera water. You can have buttermilk. You can have coconut water and you can have thin soups. So these are other ways of adding hydration to your diet. All right, now let's look at what to avoid or what you should limit to some extent. Okay, caffeine. You've heard this from your gynecologist during pregnancy. I would suggest even in this phase when you're feeding your child, the lesser amount of caffeine you have, the better. Limit it. If you really have to have it, have a very weak tea or a weak coffee, no, strong decoctions, and limit it max to 1 or 2 small cups, not like mugs of tea or coffee, because this can affect even your child's sleep pattern. Okay, so try your best to stay away from caffeine if possible, but if you really have to have it, max about 1 small cup. That's it. Definitely alcohol to be continued to, you please avoid alcohol until you're breastfeeding. It's not at all suggested and it's not good for your body as well as for your baby. The fried and heavy foods, it can impact your digestion as well as the taste of the milk. So whenever you're having anything that's, deep fried or it has a lot of fat, like too much of ghee or anything of that sort, I think have smaller portions. If you just feel like you're tasting it and you don't want to deprive yourself of it. But if you go overboard with your pakoras and samosas and things like that at this phase, you will also have digestion issues and so will your child. So please be a little careful about deep fried items. Fermented, spicy and stale food. So by stale food, what we mean is, if you've just kept it in the fridge, cooked the previous day, kept it in the fridge and you're planning to have it the next day, at this phase, I wouldn't suggest it because we are not really sure what kind of bacteria sometimes does grow in the food and which can then affect your child as well. So preferably eat freshly cooked food every day. Fermented food, things like curd, buttermilk are still fine, but don't go on to trying kombucha and different kind of, the fermented microorganisms. You have certain drinks that are with probiotics or prebiotics. So be a little careful. Don't take any over-the-counter drinks like this without checking with your doctor or your nutritionist. Spicy food, please avoid. It can affect your stomach as well as the baby because the taste of the breast milk also could change. So please stay away from spicy food. Keep all your food very mild. Even if you're having non-vegetarian food, please be careful on the amount of spice that is if that is going into it. So it's important to note down not just your the reactions of the food that you are facing, but it's also important to notice your child's behavior, sleeping pattern, when you have introduced anything new to your diet. So please be very observant and it will help you understand what choices to make and what to